Bonjour à toutes et à tous, bienvenue sur CINECAST. Salut Thibaut.
Salut Guillaume.
Alors aujourd'hui, exceptionnellement, vous l'avez remarqué au titre de cet épisode que vous regardez ou que vous écoutez, il ne s'agit pas d'une critique d'un film, il s'agit d'interview, puisque Thibaut, tu étais récemment au Film Festival de Londres, au BFI pour être plus précis, où tu as eu l'occasion de voir pas mal de films dont on a parlé dans le podcast, Train Dreams en l'occurrence pour celui-ci, et tu as eu aussi la chance de faire des interviews, et c'est ça qu'on va écouter ou regarder bientôt.
Exactement, j'ai eu l'occasion de passer au total 10 minutes avec Clint Bentley, le réalisateur, et Joel Edgerton, l'acteur principal. Donc voilà, j'ai eu 5 minutes avec eux. Et puis j'ai eu 5 minutes avec Felicity Jones et Kerry Condon, duo d'actrices assez fantastique dans le film aussi. Donc voilà, on vous a fait un petit condensé pour faire une petite interview de 6-7 minutes. Et c'était vraiment très intéressant et j'espère que vous prendrez beaucoup de plaisir à écouter cette interview.
First, Joel, so you bought the rights of the movie. It was something you read like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Did you ever consider directing it yourself?
Yeah, I had inquired for the rights. You know, it was about 2018, and they were taken by the producers that I didn't know at the time. And I'm glad that I didn't get the rights to the book back then, because the adaptation of this book is a very delicate, complex thing to achieve, which I, when I read Clint's screenplay, thought he had done a remarkable job of harnessing the language and the poetry of Dennis Johnson, and yet, you know, stringing together a narrative film out of this. So I was happy that I didn't get the rights when I looked out.
Saved you a lot of work, didn't it?
Saved me a ton of work.
How was the work to adapt the short story into the movie?
It was always lovely and exciting, but difficult in terms of trying to take this. The book is beautiful and wonderful and poetic, but it's told in a very stream of consciousness way. And you know, it'll tell a whole year of his life in a paragraph. You know, and it doesn't expand a lot for the most part. And so that offered a lot of joy in expanding those moments and adding things to it. But it was also difficult to try and maintain that spirit of the book without just the last thing I wanted to do was make just a straight ahead adaptation and make everything linear. It would have betrayed the book, I think.
How is it to promote a movie together with someone you don't share any scene together?
Interesting.
I know, it's kind of like we're this is like another movie in a funny way, because we've all had to get to know each other. Because as you say, William, Carrie, and I have never met each other before Toronto.
Yes.
So now we're almost creating a new. It's a new kind of. We're starting again in some ways, because we were all just pivoting and interacting from Joel.
How is it to embody loneliness in a very different way? Your character is looking for it, and yours is suffering for it. How is it to play that?
Yeah, that's such a good way of putting it. Yeah, in many ways, Gladys is actually finds it very difficult. I think there's a sense. I was actually saying in earlier drafts of the script, there was a line about her inheriting depression from her mother and her grandmother, and her wanting to push against that and to make a choice that I don't want to suffer in the way that they have, which is why I wanted her to have a kind of vitality. When you first see her on the screen, she has to be front-footed. It's effortful, her positivity. It's not necessarily something that comes naturally.
Okay.
For me, there's a lot of similarities between me and Claire, and I quite like being alone. So that was, you know, there was a similarity there that wasn't that difficult for me. And Clint had always also given me a lot of research on the ladies in real life who worked in those watchtowers, and just like months on end on their own. So they'd be very I guess, zen almost, if you're like up there on your own for months on end. So that helped me understand the kind of calm vibe of her.
What was more challenging on the movie, writing the movie itself or shooting in, or certain sequences that were tough to shoot?
Man, that's a good question. I think it was tough on us to shoot it because we were out on location, and it's very physical for Joel. And it was a quick shoot. We shot it in about 30 days, which on a film, that spans so much time, you usually have like twice that. But again, it always felt like a joy to put it. The work felt like we were getting something good, and I think that always feels worth it.
Was it a particular challenging shooting to shoot outside on locations most of the time?
Weirdly, it wasn't challenging. It wasn't, the weather wasn't particularly extreme. I'm saying there was like a couple of colder days, but it wasn't as though we were working against the environment. And actually, because we shot it in April, so it was kind of spring, and it was, so much of it was capturing the natural light. So I don't think there was even, when I was in the cabin, there was hardly any artificial light. It was all kind of like low lamps or natural light. So we were trying to work with the environment, with nature, to capture how kind of extraordinary it can be.
What was it working both with Carrie and Felicity for you?
Look, there's the good 5 supporting characters that were very significant for me. John Deal, Nathaniel Arcan, and Bill Macy. Bill was someone I looked up to. That was my excitement about working with Bill, and it was such a pleasure. Felicity I'd wanted to work with for a long time. And Kerry and I worked together in 2003 on a film called Ned Kelly. So we already had this long history with each other, which felt very suitable. And I think both of them, in their own very, every actor is a different, interesting machine and animal, and they're both so uniquely special in their own different ways. I'm really glad. The world has known about Felicity for a long time, and there's a reason why. But I love that the world at large is getting to know Kerry's work more, because she's always been
phenomenal,
wonderful. Yeah.